Hello, I'm Fallon. I am a healer and a transformation coach who is learning how to really make peace with money. And this is actually tied to what I wanted to share today, which is so many women who want to improve their lives don't invest in a coach or a healer because they have to ask their husband. And so I wanted to address this because you can tell a lot about a man and his own stuff, right? He's going to project his stuff onto you if he doesn't heal it. If you did want to invest in yourself, if you did want to quit your job and like start a whole new life, is your partner's money stuff, their self-worth stuff, their trauma, like is it unresolved? Because you're going to know everything you need to know about a man when you ask him for support. And especially when it comes to finances, because men have the most cool, speaking as a woman who struggles, sometimes, like men's brains are so fucking cool and men's hearts are so powerful, and like they want to be the hero. They want to be the provider. And so much of everything that's happened in the last few years or like even decades is to separate the divine masculine and the divine feminine template so that women feel like they have to work. And when they do work, they want to be the absolute best. So they bust their ass and ignore their family, ignore their passions to make somebody else money so that they can try and feel better about themselves by climbing up a ladder. So as someone who's done that, I didn't climb very high, but like, you know what I mean, at even clinics, but we need to talk about it because like I was sharing the other day, like your birth story matters because of your relationship with money, because money is love, and the universe shows its love for you through money and sending you other opportunities that are super, super high frequency and aligned for you and where you're meant to be. And the only way you would be blocking that is if you didn't allow yourself to grow. And I'm totally saying also, like, you actually don't even have to spend a lot of money to get the right resources. And that's the beauty of living in the world we live in today, right? Like, you can do a lot of healing and you can do a lot of self-study and you can honestly learn everything you need to for free. But there's a difference between learning and having the knowledge and integrating. And this is where coaching comes in helpful, right? Like having some accountability and having someone who can see your blocks. Anyway, I say all of this because the very few men that I talk to, which this is definitely confirmation, and like literally the email I got before I pressed record, like also confirmation, like it's time for me to like talk to men who are corporate, because you know what? I know that some of them are seeing people that were my mentors, and like I know how much they charge for a session because they heal stuff. Men are solution focused, and if you have a problem and you say you can fix it, they don't care about how. They don't care about anything else except you fixing the problem, because that's what they're meant to do if they're a real man. And if you're a woman struggling with money or resources, which everything comes back to money and resources. If you're struggling with mental health, you need to have the right provider. If you're struggling with fertility, you need the right provider. Like, you need to allow the masculine to support you. And again, money is not feminine or masculine. Like when we're talking about the energy, it might mean something different to you. Like for me, money is very much like feminine receiving. And despite what you think, if you read my life story, like so much of my mom's money stuff is tied to my mom. And so that's why I've been doing a lot more like deeper forgiveness, but then also like actually talking to my ancestors and all of the women in my family who like literally had no option to not be married to someone because they needed to financially support themselves. I said report. That's not a Freudian slip if I didn't know one. I have notes, but they're okay, so how to know he's a real man within 1 minute. You mention something that you need casually and see the man who steps up. So, I'm just very much in the energy of networking because that's been like my whole week, and that's gonna be my super fucking amazing day today that I've been looking forward to, the women of Louisville, for I mean, I think they told me about it like 6 weeks ago, and I've been looking forward to it ever since. So I'm really in the networking zone. And again, that's where like it's really going to show you like who you are and like what you believe in and who you're going to attract. But see the type of person who steps up and is like, oh, I can solve that problem for you. And like, this is why men and women have so many issues sometimes in communication, because women just want to talk about their feelings and like they just want you to validate that like things are like so hard right now. You need to talk to your girlfriends about that. You need to talk to a coach or a therapist or someone who can coddle you. And I'm not saying coddling in a bad way. Women have to share information and share resources, and that includes feelings and emotions. Those are resources to actually keep the entire tribe alive. That's a need. But the women know to talk to the other women. That's why like when I picture like the excitement of one of the things that I'm going to be able to do someday soon is like I'm gathered around a fire with a bunch of women of all different ages and children, and like we literally just like share experiences and allow each other to like have more information and resources, right? And that's what it's all about. You can't go to a man and expect him to coddle you, because his job is to provide a solution to your problem. If he has a problem and he wants a solution, he doesn't care if it's a psychic or an intuitive or someone who says that they talk to aliens all day. He doesn't care. He wants the problem solved and he wants it solved now. So this is also like a wake up for women who are scared of, you know, people discovering the things that you're into, right? Like this was so me for so long. But at the end of the day, like my fear was that like I was going to be condemned by men I respected, and like it's not going to happen, because the men that I respect and the only people's opinions I really care about who are men in my life, they talk about wild stuff that most people wouldn't be able to process, and they have millions of followers. So again, like a cue that like I can talk about whatever if other people can talk about even more wild stuff. So I say all of that because how to know he's a man in minutes. Yeah, he's gonna want to solve a problem, and women care about the how, and then they get in their head and then they sabotage and they procrastinate. And there's a very heavy neurobiological reason that happens. There's a real neurobiological reason why that happens, like at worst points in the month, depending on where you're at with your cycle, and then where Mother Earth is with her cycle. And so sometimes I really like to be like, okay, if I was a man, what would I do right now? If I was a man and I needed a solution, like what would I tell myself, instead of just getting in all of my feels and getting upset and like wanting people to comfort me and tell me that what I want to hear. I need solutions, right? So I think this is also like, if you're working on healing your masculine, it's amazing, because a lot of people course correct and they just go total feminine, and they just like flop on the floor for like months. And again, like the right people need to do that, but people who are just stepping out of the matrix, working for other people, literally the worst question they could get asked is, how much time do you spend with yourself, and how much do you love yourself, and can you go out and do things by yourself? That person is what I'm talking about. Don't overcorrect by just going super feminine, because your mind isn't gonna feel safe. It's not gonna be able to do that yet. You have to heal the masculine, which is like taking aligned action. If there's a problem, you look at the problem and you look at the solutions and you ask for other people's help for those solutions. That's how a divine masculine thinks. And that's how you know if a man is a man in 1 minute, because a real man's gonna wanna know what the problem is, ask you, and then provide a solution. A boy is gonna coddle you and be like, oh my God, like that's so horrible, I'm like so sorry, and not do anything about it, because they're not a real fucking man. They're not gonna step up. So that's how you know if it's a real man within a few minutes. If you have questions, let me know, put them in the comments. I'm really excited about this. When I first started studying the female brain and studied it through many different people of different types of backgrounds, like I just became so fascinated, because it just made sense, like things came together of like how we're meant to co-create. So I love you, and I'll see you soon.